Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Down on the Sidelines here on your home sideline at Lakeland University, representing the Muskies. Your host, Matt Crawley, aka Maddie Icy.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode 15.
Yes, this will be
We're
episode
in
15.
episode number 15 of the Dots podcast. Um, Here with you guys on the away sideline is Brenden Retzloff, aka 99 Bretts.golf. And this is actually our third attempt recording this
Yeah,
because we
so
ran into some
uh,
audio
audio
problems.
problems, which unfortunately really sucks, but hopefully we are so good. If you're talking right now, I don't see you because I have uh, the script pulled up right now. But so far, we're looking pretty
Dude,
good. All right. I
all
say
right.
we get right into it. If you haven't watched our last episode, which should be uploaded by now, we had King's Customs on last episode, which was fun to catch up with him. I mean, he, you can take it away if you want. I'm kind of trying to remember. It was so many things.
There were a lot of things that we talked about in that episode, but yeah, it was nice to catch up with a good friend of ours, a lifelong friend. Known him basically ever since about kindergarten, preschool type
Mm-hmm.
of age for the both of us. So it was really nice to catch up with him and see how he was doing. Seemed like he was doing really good. Happy for him. It seems like his business is going in the right direction. We just like to say thank you for
Joining
having you
us.
on once again, because uh, without you, and I mean other people, of course, but without you, this podcast wouldn't have been able to be as great as it was yesterday. And we just had a really fun time with it. So,
We were gonna
uh,
try to keep it to an hour and a half, hour, and we went for 2 hours. So
we had some good
we
conversation.
really did. He told a lot of stories, which is good content.
Absolutely. And he gave us a few tips on what to do with our own content. And I really think that we're gonna take his advice into like a very serious consideration to like start doing editing on some type of things because now we're starting to do like video
Yes,
podcasts, which
actually,
is honestly way better than just
yes,
showing a screen.
yeah. Instead of the same just NFL logo, um, you get to see our faces. You get to see Brendan's living room. You get to see my dorm room where I basically live. Yeah, so it should be really fun.
Oh
Actually,
yeah, I
last
could
ep-
give people a tour of my room.
let's
I can
not
do that
do
real
that.
quick.
Let's not do that right now. You can do that at your Stevens Point dormer, but I don't want to do your own room. Because people be like, wait a minute, I know that window. I know where he lives.
Oh, oh snap! You're right. I can't let the viewers start stalking. That'd
Yeah,
be pretty bad.
yeah, but yeah, last episode was our first one with face cameras, so that was fun. Obviously, it might look a little blah. We're just using Discord video call, so it's basically the easiest one. We would try and do Zoom, but Zoom only has a time limit, so that's why we're on here. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I had a
I'm trying
fun
to
time. Uh,
I'm trying to figure out my lighting right now. I'm pretty much just using natural light.
yes,
Um, I don't have any lights that are around me. I do have this stuff, but the lighting doesn't match. So I I look white on one side and I look dark on the other. You can call me
yeah,
Anakin Skywalker. Um,
join the
I
dark side.
guess. We were talking a little bit about Star Wars earlier too. So,
Yeah.
always fun to catch up on that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, we recapped our last episode with King's Customs. I loved what we got to do with him
I
as
loved it
well.
too. It was such a fun time. I enjoyed every second of it. Never a dull moment, I don't think. It was a little bit hard because while I wanted to ask the question, you had a question too. We both talk at the same time. I'm just like, okay, It's a lot different when it's just us two because obviously we don't have to worry about like a third person. We can just jump in. You can stop. But like with him, when we have three, it's like, okay, I'm gonna wait a little bit in case he has a question that you didn't have a question. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll go answer my question. And then you would answer at the same time. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. That was like the only awkward part about it. And it stinks that we're like in remote locations, like we can't be together when it happens because
Yeah.
communication is so much easier when like you're all in person because you know when like somebody's gonna talk and say something compared to like being online where
Oh
it's kind
yeah.
of like once you get an idea in your head, you want to say it right away and you don't want to lose that track of thought.
No, you don't.
But yeah, I thought the episode went really well. Um, we had a few bumps along the way. We actually had to restart it once because
You had
didn't you think your
audio
computer
problem.
crashed? I thought you thought your
Oh
computer
yeah, I
crashed.
thought my computer had crashed because it just froze up. I'm like, oh no, I think it's gonna crash again, and it didn't. So we had to retake. We were only like 5 minutes in, so it wasn't that big of a loss.
Yeah,
But
I thought everything went really well. Do you want to open up with what
yeah,
this episode is all about?
yeah. So we're gonna be going over some of the latest news in the NFL, making our game predictions, our top 10, and ESPN's top 10. So obviously our game predictions, normal episode. But obviously with the first news, with the NFL, what are they gonna do about the Bengals and Bills game? So from the sounds of it, they're gonna do a no contest. So no contest game. So neither team wins or lose. So and then to determine seeding, they're literally gonna do a random number generator. If you ask me, that's kind of stupid.
It's really interesting. I didn't hear about the random number generator part.
Yeah, they're having a random number generator from what I have heard. So it's I don't like it because that could basically determine what team goes home and what team wins. Because if they both play each other in the playoffs, you're just like, okay, well, what if home field was switched to Cincinnati or switched to Buffalo?
Yeah, that's a really interesting point of thinking. So, is it guaranteed that the Bengals are winning the AFC North then because their record is
Well,
technically
it's
over a
better.
game better than the Ravens?
Yes, better. But at that point, they might do like win percentage. So if they're 12-5 and they go to 11-5, I think the Bengals would still have a better overall record.
They should, because they'd technically be at least 1.5 games above the Ravens in record.
Yeah.
But then if the Bengals would have lost, it would have only been a 1 game difference.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, with no contest, it'd be 1.5. But um, when did that news come out
I saw
on
this
that?
yesterday. Actually, let me quick check it here on my handy dandy phone.
The only things that I saw about the playoffs or about the no contest game was that they did not plan on scheduling it for sometime this week, that they're going to move it to either a different time or they just won't play it.
Yeah, I heard that they're not going to do it at all. So, where are they?
But that's not confirmed though, right? Or is it?
It's confirmed that they're not playing it at all.
Oh,
Yeah, this is a possible solution. Daily Snark. Consider ruling Bills Bengals game a no contest and using random number generator to determine seeding. So that happened.
from Daily Snark.
Yeah, so it's like NFL memes on Instagram. Then like wherever they link everything, they go, "Oh, here's a link." And it's like the Daily Snark.
I don't know
Uh,
if I'd trust that shit.
well, it's the internet. You gotta trust everything.
What a joke. Joke of the day right there. Um, so do you agree with this possible idea, or do you think there should be an alternative?
I mean, it's hard to say. I just don't agree with the random number generator. Wherever they lie, they lie. So if the Bills the 2 seed, they get the 2 seed. Then the Bengals, if they get the 3 seed, they get the 3 seed. But there's always going to be controversies like, oh, yada, yada, yada. It's so that, well, who's the 4th seed?
The
Oh,
fourth seed would be
the
the
Jags.
South.
The Jags.
Yep.
Oh, holy shit. I don't know why I'm so tired. Oh, God. But yeah, I just don't agree with that. But I
I
was,
wouldn't agree with that either. Um, to me, I feel like that's a really stupid way of doing that. Because I've heard the thoughts of like they just move out the games by a week. I believe that they should play
mm-hmm.
this football game. So like either play this football game after week 18 and then just have like a separate week after that where it's the Bengals and the Chiefs, or not the Chiefs, the Bills, excuse me. Um, and then once that's done, you can figure out your playoff rankings. So you just kick wild card weekend a week ahead, as well as for the divisionals and then the championships. And then you just have I don't even think they should play the Pro Bowl, to be honest with you. We were
Mm-hmm.
kind of in discussion with this earlier yesterday. I was like, I feel like it's gonna be like 2020, the 2020 season where
Yeah.
they just played Madden. All they did was play Madden for it. And as we see what the Pro Bowl is now, it's just a bunch of different games and then it's flag football. So like I don't feel like that
Yeah.
many people
The
are gonna
only
tune into it.
the only thing I can say about if we push everything back a week, so everyone plays their week 18 game. So then you're saying, if correct me if I'm wrong, is that we push so everyone plays their week 18 games, and then week 19, which would be the wild card, you would have the Bills and Bengals play.
That's what I would think. I think that's the best way of doing it, and that's what I've heard from a lot of other sources. I have heard that idea though
The only
of
thing
the
is
random
that
number generator, but I think it's really dumb.
the only thing that I have questions. My problem is that everyone gets a bye then. Whether if you're a first round, so you get 2 weeks for of rest,
Yeah,
and
you would get an
then
extra week of rest.
then two
Yep.
to seven, they all get 1 weeks of rest, which will be good for them. But if you're the 2, so you're going to be coming off super fresh.
That
So
is a fair point, but the thing with the random number generator though, that is
no,
that I find is so wrong is it literally decides the fate of who is hosting a playoff game and
well
who's away for a
they
playoff
both
game.
are. We may never know what happens in the playoffs. Maybe the 7th seed beats the 2nd seed. Maybe the Ravens beat the Bills. We
All of
don't know.
that just seems really whack to me.
It really
Like
is.
the NFL is gonna have fun putting something together here. I
Oh
did
yes.
have an idea for this game. I think I told you about it yesterday, and that's so with all the DeMar jerseys that have been bought by fans, that the NFL invites those fans who were at that game back to the same game, no matter when they play it, and every single fan would wear a DeMar Hamlin jersey.
See,
Like,
I think that's just gonna happen in the playoffs. I think the Bills and Bengals will meet in the playoffs. I think when everyone goes to that game, whether it's in Cincinnati or if it's in Buffalo, everyone will be probably wearing a DeMar jersey.
I think it'd be super cool if the NFL gifted the fans jerseys, like
Mm-hmm.
jerseys of him. So then, like, say the game was in Cincinnati or whatever, and they do end up playing that, every single person would be wearing blue or white and the number 3 in the stadium, which you would expect to see a bunch of orange or black.
Yeah,
Um,
in the
so
jungle.
I would find that to be extremely cool if NFL did that, but NFL, they only care about the revenue and money. that they make, so they don't want to give money to people. So it
Yeah,
probably won't happen. But that was my
it would
idea
be
that
a
I proposed.
awesome thing to do. But yeah, obviously, since we're on the kind of topic of Demar, we'll go right into that. So positive news from him. He uh, awoke last night and he wasn't able to talk, so he wrote down. He asked, "Did we win the game?" Because he like honestly, you're unconscious. Like you're getting CPR. You don't know what's going on. Your blood pressure drops to zero. You're knocked out, almost dying. And his first question awakes is, "Did my team win?" And then the doctors, well, he didn't say, he wrote it on a notepad. And then the doctors wrote back, "Yes, you won. You beat the game of life." And I thought it was like, wow, like even everything like he's been through, like he's like, "Hey, did we at least win the game?" I'm like, that's just like, wow. Like
Yeah,
it's also amazing to hear that he's actually awake now. He's still in critical condition, but he's able to communicate, which is good.
it's such a blessing to see that he's doing a lot better than the scary incident that we saw. The fact that the doctors like wrote down you won the game of life, that's so powerful.
It really is.
Um, like I can't even imagine what it's like to be his family right now in that moment. But when you and your family like end up seeing something of that much significance from a doctor, like you're gonna make it through this. Like you won this battle. You won the game of life. Just how emotional the family got over that type of message, because like if that was somebody in my family um who went through that exact thing and I saw that, I I would just be bawling, dude. I would I would be like, "Oh my gosh, like God hears and answers prayers. Holy shit, this is
Yeah,
nuts."
it's
And the fact of like how much America's gotten together over this, it's such a blessing, dude. And it's not only him too. We've already seen some scary incidents
mm-hmm.
here to begin the year. Jeremy Renner, he was
Yeah,
one of them.
snowplow, can block. Obviously, if you're big into
Yeah.
cars, yeah,
So like prayers out to all of them still. Not even just all the people who are dealing with a lot of issues going on in their life, health wise and mentally and physically. So just wanted to say that.
mm-hmm. But yeah, I think yeah, you kind of nailed it on the head. Like obviously, 2023 has gone off to a good start. Yeah, obviously we got Renner, we got Ken Block, now we got Demar, but still, we are so very thankful that Demar is still with us and that he is recovering super well. So,
So yeah, with the DeMar news being all good for us, we'll move on to the most fun part of this episode, in my opinion,
our top
for
tens.
us. Absolutely, man.
All
I
right.
love going through these. I know you told me earlier that you didn't make that many changes, that it's kind of the same. I did make a few changes. So, do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go first since I went first. 3 episodes now. I go 3 episodes, 2 episodes now.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna be cooking with this one. So
Hold on
we're
before we go in. ESPN's top 10 is number
oh
10.
my god.
10 is Ravens, 9 is Giants, 8 is Vikings, 7 is Chargers, 6 is Bengals, 5 is Eagles, 4 is Cowboys, 3 is Niners, 2 are Bills, and 1 is Chiefs.
ESPN, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing with the Ravens in the top 10? They just
I don't
lost to
know.
the Steelers. But okay, with that being said, we're gonna jump into mine. and we're gonna start with number 10. We'll reveal.
It's a
Uh,
very long reveal.
yeah, I'm trying to double screen everything. Okay, ready?
Yes, sir.
3, 2, 1.
Of
Number
course, you
10,
have the Packers.
we got the Green Bay Packers. Man, what can I say about this team? They are hot right now. That is the truth. They have came off of big wins against. So let's see.
You really had one
After
big one, which is Minnesota.
it was a dominant win. So after going 4-8 to begin the season, after losing to the Titans, where I thought we lost hope. But then actually it might have been to the Eagles where I thought we lost hope. But anyways, uh, we've gotten huge critical wins. We had one against the Bears, and our team, we were down going in the fourth quarter of that one, but we were able to make the comeback and hang on to the victory. Against what we both argue as one of the best 3-win teams ever in the league.
Yeah, we do.
But then next we beat the Rams after Baker Mayfield had that amazing fourth quarter against the Raiders the following week. And then we beat it was the Dolphins on Christmas. Argue all you want about that one, about Tua having a concussion. It's a team sport. You got to play and work together as a team. That's what the Packers have been doing. And then we just had the dominant win against the Vikings. I feel like that argues my point pretty well. The Packers are riding a pretty good hot streak going into week 18. And if the Packers win this week, which pretty much everything's set up for that to happen,
It's rigged.
the Packers are going to make the playoffs. They'll be the 7th seed. First time being the 7th seed since 2010, where guess what? Packers won the Super Bowl. So,
Actually,
yeah.
no, they will have been the 6th seed. They were never the 7th seed. Because they added the playoffs a couple of seasons ago, where it's now 17. It just used to be 6 because it used to be the first 2 teams get the bye, and then the lower standings.
I thought it was always the 7.
No, it was
I
it
thought
was
it always
only
went to
6.
7.
It was 6. It was the 4, and then it was the 2 wild card teams. So it was. So like when Minnesota had the good run in 2017, it was Philly, Minnesota got the byes.
I remember the top 2 getting a bye.
Yep, and
I
then
do
it was
remember
New
that.
Orleans. Then it was the Saints and someone else, and then it was the 2 wild card teams. So the wild card only had 2 games. I think one was played on Saturday, one was played on Sunday. So those 2 teams would go into the divisional round, which there will be also 2 more games, and that's when the Minneapolis Miracle happened. And then the winner of those 2 goes to the championship game, where Minnesota got blown out.
Okay.
Now
Okay. So,
yeah, so now since there's 7, there's only 1 team that gets a bye.
okay. I'll say then that this is the first time that the Packers would get the last seed in the playoffs for the NFC. And the last time they did that, they won the Super Bowl. Thank you
Yes.
for the correction.
You're welcome. Anyways, you're number 9.
I feel educated. Yeah,
Good.
so at my number 9 seed, revealing in 3, 2, 1.
That kind of surprises me, not gonna lie.
I have the Minnesota Vikings. The thing that scares me about this team is the last game that they had. But we know how good they are in close football games. So if the Vikings play in close football games, they should win. But we kind of talked about this as we were leaving Lambeau Field last Sunday, where like when the Vikings lose,
They lose bad.
Bad.
I just saw on
Like,
ESPN, like Justin Jefferson literally said the same exact thing. He was like, when we lose bad. Like literally his exact words.
and then this is all that I told you about what the Vikings should do, just not suck. If the Vikings don't suck, theoretically, this team will make a deep playoff run and go to Super Bowl, right?
Well, when you're literally on your second and third strings for offensive lineman, it's kind of hard to get a good line going.
I would
Like
agree
we
with you
like
on
so
that.
O'Neal got injured, he's on IR, and our starting center's on IR, so it's not
There
looking
was
good.
you guys are definitely banged up on the line. But
It's not like
there
so much
was
skill positions. We're just banged up on the line. That's what kills us.
there was one play in that game where, dude, I just freaking laugh because you're like, they got 10 guys on the field. What are they
Yeah,
doing?
they ran 10 guys on the field on defense. Like, what are you doing?
Because I see you just going like this in our seats, like
I was like, I think they have 10
pointing up.
guys.
And then I'm like, okay, maybe they do have 10 guys. And then I take another look and I go like, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my God, there's 10 guys on the field. This is awesome. Like the Packers are gonna make a big play right here.
I know. I
But
think they got like a 2 yard rushing play. I think that's what had happened.
I think they picked up a first down. But it wasn't that crazy of a play. It was just super funny that the
Yeah.
coordinator, whoever your guys' defensive coordinator is,
Ed
did not realize
Donatel, get
that.
him the hell up. God, he sucks so much. He's even making me cough. Ed Donatel, I
Perhaps.
do not like him. Never did.
And you
He's like,
got your reason to not like him.
yes, I have my reasons. I'll go with that when I reveal where the Vikings are on my list.
All right, so that's why I got the Vikings at number 9. They've struggled. They're still good though. To my number 8 now. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars. You can say what you want about this team once again, but my goodness, Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, um, the defense of the Jaguars, they're starting to stand up. Not as good as Saxonville was back in, I want to say
2017.
that's 2017.
2017. Because that's when the NFC champ, where all like the championship for the conference championships it was Case Keenum, Nick Foles, Tom Brady, and Blake Bortles. Those were the 4 quarterbacks competing to
That
go to the
was
Super Bowl.
hilarious.
It's funny. I still see pictures this day where it's like, oh, this is actually a real picture. Case Keenum, Nick Foles, Tom Brady, Blake Bortles. Yeah, but anyways, keep on explaining.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the previous games that the Jaguars have played. Um, Ever since their loss to the Detroit Lions, where they got smoked 40-14, that is the first game in December for them. They have won out since. They ended up beating the Titans 36-22. Then they ended up defeating the Cowboys, which a ton of people are arguing like the Cowboys are one of the best teams in the NFC, or if not the best team in the NFC. And then they beat the Jets as the Jets were starting to deplete. That was Thursday Night Football. And then they beat the Texans, who their last 2 games before they played Jacksonville, they played tremendously
They really
against the
did.
Cowboys and the Chiefs.
And
And
then
they
they
could have
beat
won both.
the Titans.
They beat the Titans. And I predicted that game. I
You
was very
did.
happy about that. But yeah, the Jacksonville Jaguars, this team's hot. They get to play the Titans once again in Jacksonville Saturday night. Such a big game. We already went over the predictions for this game in our last episode.
Yep.
With
So if you want to
King's
see
Custom.
those basically the big games, check out our last episode to see our predictions on those. But yeah,
Yes.
I'm curious. What is your number 7?
Yeah, so up to my number 7 seed
I feel like this could be the Lions.
in the league. You're thinking the Lions.
I'm
You're
thinking
crazy.
the Lion. Oh,
I got the LA Chargers here at
if you
number
do
7.
not have the Lions in your top 10, there's something wrong with you. Anyways,
Would there be
continue.
some- okay.
Continue.
So-
We're on time crunch.
Yeah, so Chargers at number 7. I feel like this team, they're getting built up pretty well ever since they've lost some of their guys like Mike Williams and Keenan Allen on the offensive end. And then they just brought guys like Joey Bosa. They got Khalil Mack as their primary defenders. And then don't forget about their great corners that they have. Derwin James being one of them.
He's a safety.
Um, this team just a well built team. They're young on both sides of the ball. Don't be surprised if this team makes a surprise run in the playoffs. So up to my number 6. This one may shock a lot of people.
Yes! Yes! They're outside the top 5.
I moved the Philadelphia Eagles to the number 6 in my top 10 teams currently in the NFL. I don't know what this guy's doing with his little football toy looking.
Shut up! It was a present.
Oh, a Christmas present?
Yes. Anyways.
Very nice. So, yeah, the fact that this Eagles team, they've had their struggles in the last 2 games. They lost by 6 to the Cowboys, and they lost by, was it 7?
10 to the Saints. They lost 20 to 10.
That's right. Yeah, I'm done picking 2017 games unless they're on teams that I hate. So don't be surprised if I do that this week.
Yes, we should really do that.
We'll see if the curse is actually real. But the fact they were missing Jalen Hurts is huge. Jalen Hurts, he's expected to come back this week in their game against, was it the Giants?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I was actually looking up before this. He's still. I think today was his first limited practice, so it'll be interesting.
I think that he's expected to start according to ESPN. So if the Eagles end up starting him, I expect the Eagles to end up winning, which would get them the 1 seed.
Yeah.
But right now, the way that the Eagles are as a team, they are having their struggles. So
they really are.
We bumped them to number 6. So on to my top 5. Get ready for this. Number 5. I got the Dallas Cowboys.
I mean, I can see it.
In the 5 position. Yes, the Cowboys, they've had a couple of pretty good games here in the past couple of weeks. I still cannot stand the fact about Dak Prescott. I don't think that he is like at that caliber that can get the Cowboys really far into the postseason or in the playoffs. I think the Cowboys, they're going to be that one and done team in the league right now. They are currently the 5 seed in the NFC, and I have them at number 5, ahead of the Eagles. So you guys are probably thinking like, Brenden, this doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you put the Cowboys ahead of the Eagles if you think the Eagles are going to be?
I know what your top 4 teams are.
Well, the top 4 teams, they're pretty easy.
Yeah.
To predict here. So, I think the Cowboys, they are a better team than the Philadelphia Eagles right now. But I just have concerns with Dak Prescott. I don't think he's that guy. He did not play like an MVP this year. He's thrown the most interceptions in the league ever since he came back.
No, just period. He's thrown the injury. Most. He's thrown the most interceptions, just period. Even though he had like 3 to 5 weeks off of his injury.
I thought he was tied with Derek Carr for that.
It might be. I'm not entirely sure. Last time I checked, he was leading the league.
All right, so I got the Cowboys at number 5. On to my number 4. Matt's making his prediction on my number 4. And
hey, I was right.
You're correct. The San Francisco 49ers at number 4. I've had this team at 4 for the past like 3 weeks or so. I don't think I'm gonna do much with them in my standings because, as we pointed out in last week's episode, that there's teams that have better cores than this 49ers team, but their defense, don't get me wrong, they're outstanding. They did end up giving up a lot of points to the Raiders, though,
Mm-hmm.
which was a very unexpected surprise. Jared Stidham actually played really well
Stidham.
against the coverage of this
Yeah.
49ers team.
So Stidham
So,
was one of the two quarterbacks this year to throw 3 touchdowns on the Niners. The only other quarterback was Patrick Mahomes.
so referring to Matt's point or alluding to it, Jared Stidham, he's in some pretty good company. We'll see what happens with Derek Carr when it comes to their team, but we're focused on the 49ers here. They're already locked in as the best team in that NFC West. They've been like that for the past few weeks already, and this team they could make a big playoff run, but I got a feeling if it's the Packers who end up getting in against the 49ers, we might see a really good football game. Um, so on to that. Number 3, you had a prediction on this one too?
I'm gonna go Chiefs, Bills, then Bengals are your number one.
Number 3, I put them here for DeMar because I did have them at number 4. Bills at 3 for 3. Um, yeah, this team, I was really hoping that um they would have a really great game, uh, as well as the Bengals would have a great game against each other. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see um the crazy scoring fest that I was expecting to see, but I think it was going to shape out to be that way. Um, you can say what you want about this team. ESPN's been fanboys about them for the longest time. They're starting to get their offense going in the right direction at its highest peak, which we haven't seen all year, and that's why I moved them slightly ahead as to where they were before. But the main reason is 3 for 3, so prayers up to him. Up to my number 2 now, Kansas City Chiefs.
Is that
Um,
shockers know who your number one is?
I okay. My I feel like I have a really good list here. Um, at Chiefs at number 2, they had a tough game against the Broncos. The Broncos are a pretty struggling team. I don't know what it is with this Chiefs team when they play the Broncos. They like to have heart attacks or
They
something.
really do.
Um, so I mean, when it comes to that, congrats to Russell Wilson on your touchdown passes.
Surpassing your bathrooms.
Such an incredible statistic. Shout out to whoever that was who kept track of that. Larry G for that. Yeah, but Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Isaiah Pacheco, Juju Smith-Schuster, Marcus Valdes-Scantling. The the Chiefs, they got weapons on the offense. Now it's up to their defense to see if they can prove themselves as that number 2. And then we're just gonna jump to the number 1 right away in my top 10. Joe Burr and the Cincinnati Bengals. Um, I was expecting the Bengals to beat the Bills in a pretty high scoring game this past week. I think it would have happened. It was shaping out to be that way. Like I said, the Bengals, they have the weapons. They are riding a really good hot streak right now. I'm gonna walk through um, the last 8 games from the Cincinnati Bengals here um, for you guys. I gotta pull it up on my phone. Okay, so they did have a close game against New England Patriots. I'll give you that. But they had an incredible second half against the Buccaneers to win. Then they beat the Browns in a great fashion. They beat the Chiefs in a great game. They beat the Titans. They beat the Steelers. They just smacked the Carolina Panthers. And then that was their last loss was to the Cleveland Browns on Halloween. So the Bengals, they have been undefeated in November and December of this year. So they're the hottest team in the NFL. I don't know why ESPN doesn't show their respect towards them, putting them at number 6. Absolutely ridiculous in my opinion. Um, yeah, that's gonna round out my top 10. I feel like it's a really good list. Do you want to jump into yours or do you
Yeah,
want to?
yeah, we'll
Okay.
jump right into mine. So number 10, we have the Detroit Lions. Obviously, when you decimate a team 41-10, things are going to be looking super good. This is a hot team. Like even if the they do get eliminated from playoffs, it's Dan Campbell. He's always going to go out there and win. So
Dan Campbell's a great
he
coach.
is.
Like I have massive respect
I
for
do
that
too.
guy.
So that's why I have them at 10 because even though like yeah they could have they should be better than they are, but honestly when you start off 1-6 it doesn't look the best. Remind you, this is a team that went out to a shootout. They lost 38-35 against the Eagles. So yes. So going into my number 9, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. You have them at 8. Jags, they're hot right now, but I want to know how hot they can be in the postseason. I feel like they could possibly be a very one and done team because those AFC wildcard teams are tough. You have right now you have the Patriots at 7, you have the Ravens at 6, and then they would be playing the Chargers, which I like my odds of the Chargers winning that game. So I'm just like they're pushing it. They're getting hot at the right moment is what you need right now. So that's good. So then at number 8, we have my Vikings. So yes, it was a very ugly win. We are very banged up on the line. Brian O'Neill's on IR.
Ugly loss,
Ugly
not
loss,
win.
and like we kind of hit on the head before. When they lose big. They average 22.9 points against them whenever they do lose. So it's always a 3-score game. So yeah, I would have liked to see, as Brenden said, there are times where they had 10 guys on the field. So it was just,
One of the funniest plays of the game.
it really
Like
was. I didn't like it.
seeing your reaction to that, I was like, "Oh boy, this is the summary of the game right here for the Vikings
Yeah,
faithful."
yeah, I did not like it. So honestly, they're still 12-4. I mean, they're 11-0 in 1-score game. So if it's a 1-score game, you bet your ass I'm going to take Minnesota. Then we have the Chargers. Like I said before, I would take the Chargers over the Jags. We both have them at 7. They're getting their offensive pieces back together. Eckler's just is Eckler. He's doing great things. Mike Williams, honestly, he threw his ballot out there for catch of the year. And then you have obviously Keenan Allen. Defenses being above average, almost borderline top 7, I would think, in the league, in my opinion, just looking at the roster. But yeah, so at 7, I got the Chargers, which I think is respectable.
Valid.
Coming at 6, we got the Eagles.
Oh,
Yeah, so they're also on my top 5. When you go 0-2 without Jalen Hurts, you're going to wonder, okay, so this team is all about Jalen Hurts. That's the impression that I'm getting. You lost to
Micah
this.
Parsons was wrong.
You got the 6-9. You lost to the 6-9 Saints, who have nothing, who had nothing to play for. So that really raises an eyebrow to me. So I'm just like, oh gosh. Well, I don't know how well. I feel like there's
And
2 teams in the NFC that could be one and done teams. Well, 3 since I'm if you really
are you
want.
thinking? Are you thinking it's both NFC East teams?
Yes, and this is my number 5 team, the Cowboys.
Is
I feel the Eagles and the Cowboys could both be one and done teams. Whether I definitely think Philadelphia will be a definitely one and done if they get down to the 5 seed.
okay.
Then they'll have to face Tom Brady, and do not doubt me in a playoff game of Tom Brady.
That's a very true point that they would have to play Tom Brady, but it's like if they have Jalen Hurts back and he's healthy, this team is way different. Like we have we've noticed the
I
significant
mean,
difference
to be
between
fair, they
teams.
lost to the Commanders for their first loss.
They did, and it's kind of crazy that they lost that game in Philly, and they also lost to the Saints in Philly.
Yeah.
So Philly's a tough environment to play in, but it seems like those teams really handled their way through. But I think you're right about Tom Brady. You can't doubt him.
No.
We've
And now,
noticed for the
like, how
past
the Bucks
22
did
years.
against Carolina, now I'm really going to start worrying about the Buccaneers. Now I'm really starting. They're going to be on the hot streak. They're going to keep riding the hot streak. The that's if the Cowboys. If not, I would still take the Buccaneers over the Cowboys. So at number 4, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. They struggle against Denver. I don't know what it is with Denver. They struggle against them. So I was like, okay, this is super unnatural. Like, kind of like the first game that had happened where they had played. I'm just like, okay, this is just uncharacteristic. So I'm a little bit worried, but not too worried. They're still probably going to make the AFC Championship game, if not the divisional round for sure. Then going into my number 3, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. Obviously they were winning 7-3 before the DeMar injury, but I just like. This is probably my one of my 3 are probably going to be the AFC Championship game. You guys heard me over and over again. But then on to number 2.
If you have the 49ers at 1, I swear
No,
to
I
God.
have them at 2.
Thank God,
I
dude.
have the 4. Obviously, wait, going
You
over.
learned your lesson.
Well, no, hold on. They struggle against the Raiders, which is completely fine. I'm just like, okay, yeah, that's a little bit of an eye opener, but Brock Purdy's still getting the job done. Like, their defense still held up. I mean, CMC he's been put to work when he's got to San Fran. Remember, this is a team that's without Debo. So once Debo
This
comes
is a
back, it's
team
going
that's
to be
on their
scary.
third string quarterback.
Who is playing out of his mind?
It's not just that they're without these guys; they are performing well without these guys. Like,
Yeah.
they know how
Even
to
though
do
they're
it. They
banged
know how
up,
to make
they don't let it stop them. Yeah. So that's my number 2, and then my number 1, you could probably guess what it is. It's
Yeah, you have the
actually
Bills.
I have the Bills.
Yeah, it's actually the Texans or the Colts.
Actually, it's the Packers. No, I would never do that in a million years, unless somehow they go 17-0. But yeah, I took the Bills. Honestly, we don't know how that Cincinnati game would ended out. But the Niners just kind of shocked me a little bit, so I had to drop them down a spot, and I moved the Bills up 1. So that is my top 10. I mean,
All right, man.
you have anything to say about it, or then we'll get right into our predictions.
I feel like our number 10s could be interchangeable. The
They
thing is,
could be, yes.
how you led off with the Lions and you said like they had a dominant win against the Bears, and it
I would
was
still pick
41
the
to 10.
Jags. Like they split the series with Minnesota 1-1. I mean, that game against Minnesota was very back and forth. I was like, oh, they're winning by 6. Let them kick a field goal so we can still be at 10-0 in one-score games. But still, but they're going to be on the road for the whole playoffs. The whole damn playoffs are going to be on the road. So I don't know how they're going to do that. And mind you, they beat Detroit at home 41-10.
Yeah, and like when you brought up that first thing with the 41 to 10, I was like, dude, the Packers beat a better team and it was 41 to 17. And
To be fair, you guys also
last
played the
two
Packers. You
last
guys,
2 touchdowns literally did not even matter.
plus you guys faced the Bears, which you did much worse against. The Lions demolished them.
And you want to know why? Justin Fields was injured. Because the Bears, I believe they were up 10-0 or 10-3 at one point.
Yeah, after they both scored on their
that's all
first
the points they scored.
on their first 2 possessions, yeah, but Still, you said, hey, it's not because of one player. It's because of a team.
That is fair, but Justin Fields, we both actually talked about him as like a possible MVP candidate if the Bears were a better team record wise. We said that like week 11 or 12 in the season, right when we started
Yeah.
our show. But dude, the Packers, like they were up 41-3 over your Vikings.
I will never put the Packers in my top 10. That's just a thing about me.
Okay,
They're probably 11.
If that's
Actually,
a
no,
thing
they're 12.
that you
They're
have, then
12. They're 12.
like I can see the Packers and Lions being interchangeable, but the Packers, they're riding a much bigger hot streak than the Lions are right now. That's my only
All I'm going to
argument
say is
towards
that you make the playoffs, you're going to have a fun time against the 49ers.
Oh yeah, it'll most definitely be a fun time
Because the
in San
Niners own
Francisco.
Rodgers.
Yeah, they kind of do.
They own Aaron Rodgers. Anyways,
eh,
let's get on
yeah,
to our game predictions. So, our first game, we have the Kansas City Chiefs at the Raiders. Kansas City is favored by 9.5. I mean, no exception here. I'm taking the Chiefs in this one. Give me 31-20. Oops.
interesting. Okay, this game I've had a lot of thought about. Based on how the Raiders played against the 49ers, and that game went into overtime, I feel like that there's a really good shot of this game being really close. And that's why I'm going with the upset of the week here. And Kansas City will be denied of getting the 1 seed. No, no playoffs are running through Kansas City the entire way. We got the Las Vegas Raiders in this one, in a close one, by 3. We're going to go 31-28.
Interesting. I know why I'm so tired.
I feel like I have a great prediction here. Like, how close.
So keep in mind, you are 2 games ahead of me. So since we're going different ones right away, it should be interesting.
Next, I should have picked the Chiefs 20-17.
No,
we're
going to save that for a different team, not my Vikings. Browns at the Steelers. You know what? Steelers are going to make the playoffs. Mike Tomlin is not going to have a losing season this year. Browns don't have anything to play for. The Steelers, on the other hand, do have something to play for, and it's in Pittsburgh. So give me the Steelers. I'm going to say 23-17.
Yeah, the Steel Curtain defense, they're absolutely going to come out firing.
TJ Watt's going to come alive.
I expect a lot of sacks to happen on Deshaun Watson in this game here. And then on top of that, I think he's going to throw a few picks, maybe even a pick 6. Like, dude, this defense. So, Cameron Hayward,
TJ Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick.
They're good.
It's a very good defense.
They're good. I'm going to go with the Steelers here. I'm going to go with 20-10.
Gotcha. I like that pick. I can respect that pick. Next, we got the Vikings at the Bears. Minnesota is favored by 7.5 points. You know what? This is a game that we will finally win by more than 1 possession.
I think you're right.
Because the Bears are without Justin Fields, and it really sucks. I would have liked to see Fields get his NFL record. He's only 64 yards away of tying Lamar Jackson's record for most rushing yards by a quarterback.
Yeah,
I would really like to see him, but honestly, he's out with a hip.
You guys have fun absolutely smoking the crap out of Nathan Peterman.
Yeah, Nathan Peterman's playing, so you don't know what's going to happen. So, give me the Vikings. I'm going to go 33-14.
I mean, yeah, I cannot go against the Vikings on this pick. And 2017 would be a really stupid selection because I don't see the Bears scoring over 2 touchdowns in this game. Maybe I could see them scoring 1 touchdown. Uh, but dude, we literally saw it against the Lions when Nathan Peterman came into the game. The Bears just absolutely shat the
Okay,
bed.
yeah, timeout. Did you see that Aiden Hutchinson got an interception? He lined up as a corner.
Yeah, he was like hidden
He
on the
was
sideline.
on the sideline. He lined up as a corner. This man literally read Nathan Peterman perfectly.
That yeah, he really did. And I don't think Nathan Peterman. He was the one who was seeing ghosts out on the field, literally.
Yeah, same with Sam
um,
Darnold.
I don't know why it's always him and Darnold that get a bunch of crap for it, but it's
I don't know
hilarious.
either. It's funny, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Vikings in an absolute blowout here. I'm gonna go with 31-7.
All right. So next game we got the Patriots at the Bills. Bills are gonna be hungry and they're gonna avenge Damar. They're gonna go out there and they're gonna take it to the Patriots. This is where the Patriots do not get in. The Steelers slip their way in to the playoffs. So give me the Bills. I'm gonna take them. Not a high scoring game, but a good old fashioned game. 24-17.
All right. So I feel like that's a really good pick there. Because like yeah, they're gonna try to avenge for Demar. Another big thing about this game though is I mean the Patriots they are fighting to
They're
get into the
fighting,
playoffs
yes. I
here.
mean, the Bills are fighting to get that one seed, so.
And the Bills really want that 1 seed, and the Bills are going to get that 1 seed with Kansas City losing in my prediction. The Bills are going to win in this one, and I feel like your chances of the Steelers getting into the playoffs are going to increase due to this game. So yeah, I'm taking the Buffalo Bills, Belichick and Patriots, and Mac Jones. They're out of here. They've had their chances. They blew it against the Raiders really badly. They blew it against the Bengals as well. Yeah, we're taking the Buffalo Bills 28-17.
Ah, okay. So, next game, we head down to Miami, where the New York Jets take on the Miami Dolphins. I mean, I don't trust it because they have Skylar Thompson in as quarterback. He ain't no Brock Purdy. So, I'm going to take the Jets with Mike White behind center. It's going to be a close game. I am actually going to go. It could be 23-20.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, with the Jets being 1 point favorites in this one, let's be real. The Jets, they have fallen off a cliff.
They really have.
You can argue the same thing with the Miami Dolphins, even though the Dolphins are still in playoff contention. And like you did have to predict the Jets for the Steelers to get in. So thanks for staying valid to your point. Um but man, the way the Jets have played, I can't go with them. Every time I've gone with them these past few weeks, I've gotten it wrong. And this is the time where I'm gonna pick the Miami Dolphins to win this one if I can spell. It's gonna be a close one. It's gonna be pretty low scoring. I've heavy faith in the Dolphins defense. It'll be a defensive battle, but I'm gonna take Miami 13-10.
All right. Next up, we got the Buccaneers at the Falcons. Falcons are 4-point favors in this. I don't know how to feel about that. You just decimated a NFC South rival, and then you're going to another one. Uh, I'm
They
a
didn't decimate them.
well when
It,
when Mike Evans has 3 touchdowns and 300 yards, well 207 yards on you, I call that decimating.
it was a 6 point game.
True.
Like, and dude, don't forget about that punt that Jake Camarda had. Like, That is
That is
honestly the play of the
insane.
game. Like that was truly the play of the game. Like if he gets that punt blocked or if he gets tackled, I think the momentum shifts with the Panthers.
And they
Panthers
win.
end up tying it in the South, and things would be really interesting. So I would say decimation, but
No,
I see where you're coming from.
I'm gonna take the Buccaneers in this one. I mean, it's Tom
Same.
Brady. But I am going to pick them 27 to 17, 27-17, 10-point favored.
So like yeah, to your point, the Buccaneers they were firing on all cylinders, especially in that second half of that football game against the Panthers last week. Um, and Tom Brady and Mike Evans, they just developed an insane connection in the second half, I guess. Um, but yeah, momentum's gonna stay on their side. The Buccaneers are gonna end their season with a winning record, to kind of prove that this Tampa Bay team isn't really that much of a fraud as a lot of people think that they are. I feel like the Buccaneers are going to handle the Falcons really easily during this one. So I'm going to go with 31-14 Tampa Bay.
Interesting. All right. So, a lot of these teams, you got to remember, it's week 18. A lot of these playoff teams will be sitting their starters. But Panthers at Saints. New Orleans is favored by 3.5. This is actually a toss-up for me. This is just a game that I don't know who will win. Because you have the Saints who beat the Eagles, and then you have the Panthers who gave a run for their money with the Buccaneers. But I'm still going to take the Saints in this one. They're coming off a huge win against the Eagles, and they're at home, so I like that better. I'm still going to stick to the point differential, so give me 17-14.
So I 100% agree with your pick. I was honestly going to go with the same score
Do it.
of this game.
Do it.
I want to see how these two teams fared off against each other earlier in the season because I think it was an overtime game. I might be wrong. It was not. So it was in Carolina, and the Panthers won 22-14. Jameis Winston was the quarterback though. So it's a little bit different here. But Chris Olave, he went off in that one. And the Panthers, they had a tough time against Mike Evans last week, Chris Olave, and I'm trying to think of the tight end for the
Taysom Hill.
Saints here. Taysom Hill. I think they're gonna both have really good games. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Saints. I won't go with 17-14. I'll go with 20-14.
All right. So, our next game, we have the Texans at the Colts. Now, here's an interesting thing. I'm leaning towards picking the Colts because I feel like that the Texans are going to tank so they can get that first round pick. Because the Bears are probably going to be doing the same thing. Because right now, Bears are 2, Texans are 1. So I think if they win, let me check this real quick.
Dude, I've had enough with this tanking garbage. Like, when fans go to these games, they want to see something entertaining. Not something like you're throwing the freaking football game. But, I mean, I kind of do have to agree.
Yeah, so the Texans are 2-13-1. The Bears are 3-13. So, obviously, this was the first tie of the year.
Yep. It is the very first week.
Yeah, the first week. So, I still would think, yeah, if the Texans win, and then the If the Texans win and Chicago loses, Chicago gets the first round pick. So I'm going to take the Colts in this one.
Interesting.
Because I feel the Texans are going to tank for that number 1 pick. Regardless of what Chicago does, they want to get that 1 pick because they desperately need that number 1 pick to get Bryce Young or CJ Stroud or whoever they need. But give me the Colts 27-24.
See, with this, I could almost see the Colts needing a quarterback more than the Texans.
And the Colts have the 4th round draft pick.
Or the number 4?
They're number 4, yes.
Okay. I really don't want this game to be like a tank type of game. And I feel like the Colts are in much more need of a quarterback than the Texans are. Like Davis Mills, he's eh. And then, I mean, the Colts, we've seen what's happened with them. Their team's been decimated by the injuries this season. But then they bench Matt Ryan, and then Nick Foles, he gets hurt. Matt Ryan, like, with his age and where he's at in the game, he's going to be done.
I think he might retire after this year.
Yeah, I see him retiring after this season. The Colts are going to be in need of quarterback. So with that, I would see the Colts being the ones who are tanking. So I'm going to take the Houston Texans in this one.
I will not be surprised if the Texans do win this one. I will not be surprised.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 24-14 Texans.
All right. So, next, we have the Cardinals at the Niners, and the Niners have a 14 point favorite.
14-point spread has got to be one
That's
of the
a huge one.
Year.
And I don't know if I want the Vikings to get the 2 seed. So I'm debating if I use my 2017 pick here or you use it. I think you should use yours.
I think this is the game where I'm doing it.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the 49ers in this one. I'm going to take them by the spread. Give me 28-14. And then Brendan's going to take them 20-17.
Man, just predicted the future. Yeah, it's pretty clear as a Packers fan. I mean, I know what you... Wait, did you take the Packers 20-17 in our earlier predictions?
Oh, I picked the Lions. I took the Lions.
Oh, yeah.
I with Cody.
Right.
I picked the Lions 28-24.
Okay, so at least you can't curse the Packers with the 27.
You know what? I'm changing it. No, I'm not. I'm not going to change.
So, yeah, this is the game where I'm taking the 49ers 20-17. Hear me out. Here's why it's going to be 20-17 and why this curse ain't true. The Cardinals, this is J.J. Watt's last freaking game. He is going to be just firing up this entire squad on the offense and defense. Defense, they're going to come out firing. Buda Baker, he's going to have a pick 6 in this game. Watch it happen. But then, I mean, for the rest of the game, so right there's only 7 points from Arizona. I think Arizona, they're going to start with the early lead, and then 49ers are going to take over in the second half. And that's why I'm going 2017.
The curse of the 2017.
Let's
all right.
see if it happens.
Next game, we have the Cowboys at the Commanders. Dallas is favored by 7 points. I mean, I don't want the Eagles to get the 1 seed, so I'm picking the Cowboys in this one. I'm picking them 30-21.
Yeah, that's a pretty reasonable pick. Cowboys, they're a better team. Commanders don't have anything to play for anymore. Unless they don't want the Cowboys to get the number 1 seed in the NFC.
I would much rather go through Dallas than Philly.
I don't know what type of route I would want to take if I was an NFC
Well,
opponent.
Philly fans are so bad, so that's why I don't want to go through Philly.
Cowboys fans are so bad, dude.
They're not as bad as Philly fans.
Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that for a second because Dallas Cowboys fans are literally the most bandwagon fans in the NFL.
Okay, anyways, as you're picking the Cowboys, explain your reasoning.
Yeah, Dak Prescott, he's gonna have a much better game than his past few weeks. Uh, CD compact disc. He's gonna be having a really good afternoon against the Commanders. So yeah, give me the Cowboys. Here, 28-17.
All right. This leads us to our last game, which is the Chargers at the Broncos. Denver is 1.5-point favorites. So I don't know if the Chargers are resting their starters. I do know that the Chargers are 1-5 at Denver. I mean,
So the interesting thing with the Chargers is I don't think they can drop any position in
no.
the AFC standings for the playoffs. So yeah, they literally have nothing to play for.
I mean, if they do start their starters, which I think they might get like a quarter in, I'm gonna take the Chargers. But like Denver is like they're 1-5 at Denver, so I'm kind of leaning towards the Broncos.
I don't know, man.
How about you go first on this one? Because I'm still deciding.
Okay. Yeah, in this one, I believe it's the fact that the Chargers, they'll play their starters for maybe a quarter, like you said. But then once that's over, they're going to put their backups in. And to be frank with you, I don't even know who the backup quarterback is for the
Chase Daniels.
Chargers.
Chase Daniels.
Yeah, I'm picking the Denver Broncos in this one. Broncos country. Let's ride into a win for our last game of the season.
I'm also gonna take the Broncos as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be low scoring though. We're gonna
Actually,
go
hold on.
17-10. 2017.
No.
But then, like, another thing with these teams resting their starters, wouldn't the Giants do the same thing when they play the Eagles? Because the Giants, they can't move a spot in the standings.
I don't know, but I'm still gonna take the Broncos this one. I'm gonna take the 17-16.
Broncos country.
We tried.
Let's ride.
Yeah. And those are our game predictions for Week 18, a final regular season. Final regular season.
Do you want to walk everybody through our overall standings and then how many games we have picked differently?
Yes. So currently, I am 69-33, and Brenden is 71-31. He has a 2-game lead on me. So for the games that we picked differently, if you want to see what the games that we didn't pick, we did not discuss the Lions Packers, the Giants Eagles, the Rams and Seahawks, Ravens and Bengals, and Titans and Jaguars. So we picked the Chiefs and Raiders to be different, Jets and Dolphins, Colts and Texans, and then I might as well just share what we did for Week 18 with Cody with King's Custom.
Yes.
We did that. I have the Giants being the Eagles, Lions over the Packers. So I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We got 5.
We got 5.
We got
so
5.
This could very possibly be where I come back and take the lead away from Brenden, or we tie, which would be very unfortunate.
What if we tie? Like, dude, if we tie,
It's good. And you know what? You want to know why we're going to tie? Because we're going to have the Bills-Bengals game.
Yeah. Watch that happen.
And whatever the random coin generator or number generator spits out, Whoever wins that game gets the point.
Oh my God. Imagine our entire season record coming down to a freaking coin flip.
That would suck so much.
God damn. Well, also, like, if they do end up resuming this game, like, if that does happen, like, that's when we can, like, be betting everything on either side. And they're both our 1 seeds.
They
They're
are.
both our number ones in our standings. So I think that's really cool as well. Maybe it's going to shape out to be like that.
Maybe.
Who knows?
But that will wrap it up for this episode here on at Down on the Sidelines. Hour 15 minutes, make great time. So signing off from the home sideline is your boy Matt Crowley, aka Matty Icy.
And then signing off here on the away sideline is Brenden Ratzloff, aka 99 Bretts or Bretts.golf. We thank you guys for tuning into the Dots podcast. We will see you guys next time on the show.
And when we will see you in the playoffs. So we're very excited about
baby.
that. Playoffs.
Let's
Playoffs.
go.
All right. See you there.